haven't been keeping up with the most recent changes to the Instagram algorithm, and personally, I don't blame you if you haven't, because it seems like Instagram is changing the algorithm every few months at this rate. But Instagram has changed the algorithm again, and it's good news for smaller creators. We finally have some news from Instagram that indicates that smaller creators are going to find it easier to get reach, and hopefully overall they're going to be featured on the platform more. So if you're interested in finding out all of the changes that Instagram is going to make, watch through to the end of the video. But if you're new here, my name is Kaylee and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia. But I'm also a travel content creator over on Instagram, and I also started this YouTube channel a few years ago to talk about all things business, content creation, social media, and freelancing. And as I mentioned, we're going to be going through some of the changes that Instagram is going to be making to their algorithm that will hopefully help smaller creators. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been waiting for this news for a really long time. I think that ever since TikTok has really come on the scene, and a lot of the time it has been a platform where a lot of smaller creators have been able to find success on it, and quite quickly, there has been this kind of like competition between Instagram and TikTok. Instagram has been notoriously hard to grow on as a smaller creator for years now, and I feel that I am even living proof of this. I started my travel content creation account again, I think in about late 2022, and from late 2022 till now, I roughly have about 1,700 followers. And although I do think that that has been great for the amount of effort that I have been putting into Instagram, it does require a lot of consistency, and it requires a lot of hard work to continuously be posting to the platform, and the platform really does value that loyalty. The thing about TikTok that's been a lot more different in previous years is that a lot of people have found that they've been able to go viral quite easily on that platform, and it is not something that is necessarily easy on Instagram. It is a lot harder to stand out on Instagram, and I think that this is where some of these changes will hopefully be coming in to help that. So there's definitely been a few issues with this that I've seen over the previous years, and a lot of it comes down to the recommendations that we are getting on Instagram, on our Instagram feeds. And quite often it is content that we haven't necessarily asked for. Now, a lot of what goes onto the recommendations is very, very high follower accounts. It's quite often accounts that are more like repost accounts. So they're reposting smaller creators and other creators' works. And quite often it is not original content. And most of the time that is what shows up in my recommendations. It's these multi-million follower accounts that have just reposted content that has not been their own. It's not technically original content, and it has been from other smaller creators. I'm also a very big advocate on Instagram for trying to curate your own feed to what you really want it to be. So finding those people that really inspire you, finding people that you can easily engage with that are like-minded. So really part of my own pursuit over the last couple of years has been to find people who are really in the same circles as me, or really at the same level as me growth-wise on Instagram, maybe a similar follower account, or very similar ideas on what we're posting, and stuff that's really going to inspire me, and I can engage with people and actually make friends on the platform. So I've been trying to seek out these smaller creators that are like-minded to myself, and I've found that it can be very difficult at times. It can be very difficult to find those people that have a smaller following and maybe not as much engagement on their work, that you want to kind of help change that and sort of really engage with these people. It's kind of hard to do that because whenever you're scrolling through your reels, for example, most of what's getting recommended to you is going to be from really popular accounts, from accounts that already have millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers, from accounts that have hundreds of thousands of likes on their content. And it's incredibly difficult to engage with them because they have thousands of comments on the posts as well. So they're never really going to be very easy creators to engage with and to kind of feel like you're on the same level as them in a sense. So as I mentioned, I find it very hard to go out and seek smaller creators on the platform. And again, in my recommendations, all I'm getting is just repost accounts at this point. And funnily enough, it's also happening in my own general feed. A lot of the repost accounts or feature accounts that I follow always seem to come up first on my feed. And that is really because of their dedication to posting on the platform. They're posting several times a day, every day. It's more than what a lot of other accounts and smaller creators can even manage. And I'm also pretty convinced that a lot of these feature accounts are actually run by bots or AI. So I do find that some of the things that they've posted in the past has been questionable, and some of the ways that things have come across from their posts has just been very interesting to me. And it does kind of indicate that maybe a person hasn't necessarily posted it. But I digress. I think that this is something that needs to be worked on further by Instagram. But in saying that, they are making some of these changes, so we're going to go through them now. So one of the first changes is that reposting or posting unoriginal content on Instagram is going to be penalized. And this means that you're probably going to see a lot less of this in your recommendations. So this might be from repost accounts, feature accounts, and just generally other accounts that tend to repost people's work on Instagram, and whether that be from smaller creators or larger creators. So this will be a really good step because you will hopefully start to see creators in your feed. A step further with this is that Instagram will actually be replacing those recommendations from the repost accounts with the original creators' work. Creators will also get notified when their content gets reposted on Instagram, along with a label being added to reposted content. So I think that this is really cool actually, because Instagram have also said that if there are two pieces of identical content on the site, then Instagram will only recommend the original piece of content. So that really does help those smaller creators who have had their work featured or reposted, which a lot of these accounts, these bigger accounts tend to do, and then they end up getting the recommendations from it. Instead now, it will hopefully be the original creator's work that will be recommended. Instagram has said that they're now trying to give all creators an equal chance of breaking through. So before, it often meant that the creators with the largest followings would usually see the most reach, and that was seemingly unfair because you'd find that most people would pile onto those posts, with a lot of smaller creators having their work completely unseen for years. It was like this, and it's very, very difficult to break through on Instagram. So hopefully some of these changes will really help those smaller creators now break through. And now that Instagram have also said that they are prioritizing smaller creators, it means that there's potentially more of a chance for them to go viral, like on TikTok. So as I was mentioning before, there's always been a little bit of a war over the previous few years, with TikTok being a much easier platform for people to go viral on, regardless of how many followers they've had. It's just generally been a lot easier on there. Whereas a lot of creators have complained for years now about Instagram being so incredibly difficult to break through on. It's been incredibly difficult to go viral for a lot of smaller creators, and they've found that it's just not been worth their time. So now trying to put them on a little bit more of an even playing field, it might be interesting to see how many smaller creators actually do go viral from posting on Instagram. Now, although some of these changes are all well and good, and I think that it's a really great step forward, I do think that Instagram haven't really addressed one of the biggest problems that has been plaguing a lot of creators on the platform. So one of the main gripes that a lot of us have had with Instagram is the fact that you're not seeing a lot of the people that you're following, you're not seeing their work in your feed. And that can be really frustrating because you followed these people for a reason. You followed those creators to keep track of what they're doing, to see their work, to be inspired, and quite often we're getting recommended a lot of other stuff that is not from people we're following. So although I think that it's great having the recommendations in a sense, I do think they need to focus a little bit more on us being able to see a lot more from the people that we're following too. Because not only does that affect the followers, but it also affects the creator when a lot of their work is not even getting through to their own followers. So I do think that they need to make improvements when it comes to that. But I also do think that it's a really good step forward with some of these changes that they're going to be making, and I'm really happy about it, to be honest. I think it really will be interesting to see where it all goes from here, and I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but I really want to see how this all plays out, and it'd be interesting to do an update video, maybe even a couple of months' time, and talk about it with you guys and see how you're all going on Instagram and see if it's really made a difference at all. But I really hope you enjoyed this video today, and hopefully you learned something new. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel already, make sure you do, because I'll be posting a lot more in future. Let me know what you'd like to see on my channel next and what you'd like me to talk about, because I love talking about social media and Instagram in particular. I think the algorithm is still an enigma to me, but I love chatting about it and talking about my thoughts and opinions on it as well. So let me know down in the comments too what you think about some of these changes. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think that they haven't gone far enough? Let me know down in the comments. I'd really love to have a conversation with you all about this topic. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.